All right, women's roles in specifically society, military, spec ops, sports, etc. There's a lot of, the war on women and gender pay gaps, and I'm curious to get your take on most specifically, like, military, society, and specifically special operations, I guess, in the military. But
I mean, for me, let's start with the understanding that women have been serving in combat and near combat and damn near on the front lines since the inception of war. My grandma is a great example of that. The post-traumatic stress that she suffered, the things that she saw and that she had to deal with, are worse than most things that 90% of people who serve in the military have to see. I'm a believer in blind standards. They 2-3 years ago, they dictated that all military occupations, to include every special operations occupation, should be opened up to women. And if your standard is legitimate, it should be blind. It's really the only way to have any integrity in it. And if there is a woman that can meet the exact same standards as a man, not gradiated in any way or degraded in any way, I can bring it. Yeah. I have no problem with that whatsoever. I live with a woman. She's more lethal than most of the men I served with. She'll kill a dude, no problem. Yeah. More than likely, it's going to be me. If I ever go missing, she's the suspect. Yeah. I have no problem with it. There's some environments I think they might be better suited for than others. There's some environments where I think they might be more lethal than men. But it has to fall back on the standard and not a desire to show a proper ratio. The standards for our job are driven from the occupation. They're driven from the demands that we see overseas, not from the demands that we want to see overseas. So as long as, I'll keep going back to that standard. If you can meet it, I have absolutely no problem. Yeah.
In terms of the one follow-on question to that is in terms of integration. Mm-hmm. Do you take, because I subscribe to the mentality of that standard that we're talking about is ever present, right? It's in the integration. It's in everything. Is that there's no accommodations made. Birthing, showers. If you're on the team, you're on the fucking team.
If we're talking about special operations, the enemy is not going to care if you want a special shower, if you want unique time to do whatever it is that you want to do. They don't care about your considerations. Yeah. So your training has to replicate that. Now, as far as integration goes, you're going to have problems. Yeah. When you mix men and women. Look at submarines as an example. I mean, shit. Yeah. They integrated submarines and rapidly started having issues.
Yeah. I mean, even on ships. I mean, shit. I don't know if you did any ARG platoons or not.
I never did. We would transit on them from time to time, but this the same, right? Like the issues you have with men and women in society outside of the military. Hey, guess what? Sometimes men like women, and sometimes women like men. Yeah. And sometimes there's some issues that come from that. Yeah. And is that going to happen? Is that going to be something that you have to deal with? Yes. But deal with it. If it's that important, then deal with it. Yeah.
I mean, to me, I look at it as one of the beauties that the military, at least in theory, should be able to adhere to is, take any issue, any question that you have and separate it into A or B. Does it make us a better warfighting force? Does it not? If it does, you do it. If it doesn't, you don't. Yeah. By and large, you can pretty much drive that whole military train on that fucking fork in the road. To me, the big question is, I referenced the Jeff Goldblum and fucking Jurassic Park is, we've spent so much time whether or not, thinking about whether or not we could or couldn't, whether or not they could or couldn't do it. Yeah. We never stopped and thought about whether or not we should. And to me, like that's the concern I have, or really what the burning question is that is the detriment and issues that would inevitably come and stem from integrating women into those types of roles. Is that worth the augment of what they're going to bring to the table warfighting capability wise? Because to me, I look at Israel as a great example of. I agree in that there are instances where women, I think, are better suited, especially from a tactical and even covert standpoint of being able to get into places and do a lot of things you and I would never be able to do.
All you need to do is look at your average bar.
Yeah.
If you were to give me the tasking of going into a bar and eliciting information from as many women as possible, I'm going to come back with probably 0. If you give an attractive woman the same role of going into a bar and eliciting information from men, she's going to come back with all of them, all the information you could possibly want.
Or women.
Correct.
Yeah.
There's no character or value judgment there. It's just I'm not physically capable of doing one, and they are better suited in that environment based on the way that men and women interact. Afghanistan is another great place where you have to have women involved because the women there will not talk to men that are not their husband. Yeah. I cannot force. Well, I guess I could force them to, but I'm going to be defeating the purpose of getting them to want to talk to me in the first place.
Yeah.
Is it worth it? In my opinion, if the sole purpose is to prove that it is possible, no, it is not even remotely worth it. In the SEAL teams, would it be worth it? No.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think that it would. I think my take again is take Israel as why reinvent the wheel? Like, have female special operations detachments that are stood up from scratch, that are all female, that do their own fucking thing. Like, there just shouldn't be women
Which,
SEALs.
by the way, exists in the U.S. military. It's just not talked about often.
Yeah, but, to me, like, bring that to the forefront and have a bigger slice of the pie dedicated to that, But, all right, so moving on, abortion, religion, freedom of religion, liberty, abortion, kind of how they all factor in to a certain extent with each other. What is your take on those from a society standpoint?
Okay, I was not expecting this question.
Yeah. You're welcome.
I don't like telling people what they should do. I believe in freedom.
Yeah.
I believe in an individual's right to choose. There's an interesting argument or a discussion, and I don't know exactly where I net out on it, when it's, when it comes to abortion, they say it's a woman's body. It is, but at some point, a fetus becomes a child in and of itself that is being carried in a woman's body. And again, I don't necessarily, because then inception. I personally get lost in how I feel in those issues, but I always will come back to, as a person, the reason that I want to make a difference and the reason that I'd be willing to give my life for this country is that so people can have the ability to choose.
Yeah.
And I feel that should be the case with religion. If you want to practice extreme religions, I'm not saying you shouldn't, but be fucking prepared for the consequences.
Yeah.
Well,
if it goes outside the realm of what affects you and your...
Correct. You can believe, when it comes to, a good example is, freedom of speech. People look at freedom of speech as I should be able to say whatever the hell I want to say. I look at freedom of speech as how much can I tolerate somebody else saying something that disgusts me, that turns my stomach. People burning the flag. I don't think I'd be able to stop myself from getting involved in that if I saw it in person, but I think they should have the right to do it.
Yeah.
I don't agree with it at all. Kneeling at the national anthem. Okay. I stand at the national anthem and I try to choke back tears every single time. I don't support kneeling, but I'm not going to tell them to stop because I don't look at my rights as what I can force other people to do. It's about how much I can tolerate from other people. That's freedom to me. It's not about me trying to express myself. It's about allowing other people to express themselves.
Yeah. I think you hit the nail on the head, and I think, that mentality seems to be much more prevalent in those of us who have, written a blank check up into including our lives to that cause.
I never wrote that check. Yeah, did you go down to the PSD and write that?
Well, I was drunk and I had a buddy forge it, but
did they notarize that?
Yeah, I didn't.
No,
they didn't.
Yeah, I know. It's
but to me that there's a I think a pretty significant element of people who have fought for it.
Yeah.
So vigorously that
when you feel the cost, if you've ever felt the cost, if you've ever looked in a casket and saw one of your best friends and seen their family members destroyed, if you've ever watched a son or a daughter looking at their dead father, who's laying in a flag draped coffin, it'll have a different meaning.
Yeah.
And I understand why people don't understand that.
Yeah.
Which is a ridiculous sentence. I understand what people don't understand. I understand how they can forget.
Yeah.
I understand how it can feel free, but it has a cost. But if the cost doesn't ever touch you, if you never feel the weight on your shoulders a little bit, it's hard to appreciate. I understand it. I don't support it at all, but I have a level of understanding of how it occurs.
Yeah. No, I think, that's really the backbone of it is, I feel, I'd say, pretty much textbook very similarly in that, there's so many fucking things that drive me nuts.
Yeah.
That I can't fucking stand that similarly, like, I don't know how I would react in person, given certain circumstances.
I think they have the right to do it. I just don't know if I could control myself because it has a different meaning to me.
Conceptually, do I think they ought to be able to? Yeah, I do. Like, that's the whole fucking point. To me, whether it's the First Amendment, or really just liberty as a broad concept, is that it's not designed for what we already agree with, what we're already comfortable with, what we can stand and or tolerate or not mind. It's for all of the other things that don't fall into that category, So, no, it's good shit. I love hearing it.